there is a wooden castellan built by the successor of Bolesław II, his brother Conrad II. He builds this first brick church on the site of this wooden castellan that was initially built. And this church develops over the next few decades, and in the 1390s becomes a cathedral. This is the St. John's Cathedral that also tourists might remember. If they were walking up to the Old Town Square, they probably passed by this grand church in which most of these dukes of Masovia were buried during the 14th century. Warsaw remains, or it really grows and becomes the largest city of the region. It by that time becomes grander than the city of Płock, that was its previous rival. It grows from having around 5,000 inhabitants at the mid-14th century to more than 20,000 inhabitants by the early 15th century. So now we have more of these brick structures and cathedrals being built. Old Town really starts taking shape. But after a while, Old Town is technically all that Warsaw was back then, surrounded by walls. But in the 15th century, there is quite a large influx. Also, more and more Jews are arriving to Poland. But as in many medieval cities, there is a decision taken that the Jews should live separately. So north of Warsaw, they build a new settlement that is not only for Jews, but for Jews and some other people that are not given the privilege to live in Old Town. And naturally, this new settlement is given the name New Town, which until then Warsaw had only simply been Warsaw, and because of that, Old Town becomes Old Town, so to say. The city continues to grow, and there is this general flurry of activity connected to trade in the region. The relationship between the Poles and the Lithuanians has been improving in previous decades, and there is more and more commerce, but also general travel for diplomatical reasons between the two parts. The city of Warsaw is really starting to come into its own at the start of the 16th century. In 1526, the decision is taken to move the Grand Sejm, the parliamentary assemblies that are not regular at the time, but and they don't have their own building, so to say, where they take place. But they decide that in Warsaw, one place is where today it used to be a working class area. Now it has gentrified quite quickly. The Wola region, they have this field there that they hold many of these Sejms. Another field is located close to what is the National Football Stadium of Poland today. So this is where initially these parliamentary assemblies take place. But later on, as the king is now spending more and more time in Warsaw in connection with these parliamentary assemblies, there is a decision taken as well to expand on a palace, making it into this grand royal palace. And they take in an architect from Italy, where else at that time, and he builds a Renaissance palace, Giovanni di Quadro, who left a lasting impression on Warsaw and really turns the city into something that when visitors from other large European cities at that time come to visit, they recognize that there is something going on in Warsaw, even though it's not yet the capital city, a position that was still held by Krakow. However, that does change when initially in 1569 you have the Union of Lublin, when Poland and the Grand Duchy of Lithuania are merged into one single state, the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. And from that point on, there is more and more talk about moving the capital city from Krakow, which at that point is in the extreme south of this Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. Also, we have a new dynasty in power. First off, we should maybe say that the Dukes of Mazovia, their line had went extinct in 1526, and because of that, Mazovia is incorporated into Poland. So even though relationships had been close, they had previously been a part of Poland in the 11th and 12th century, but after this fragmentation of Poland during the 13th and 14th century, Mazovia is once again incorporated into Poland.
Adam, as usual, the clock has defeated. I'm just going to have to ask you to pause there, but we will pick it up next time. There we are. I've interrupted Adam almost in mid-sentence, but we will pick up the story next time on Poland Daily History, so please join us then. In the meantime, thank you for watching.